Class, my name is Candace Moore, and today I'm going to present to you one of my all-time favorite children's books, The Teacher from the Black Lagoon. It's by Mike Fowler. It is such a wonderful book, and it's mostly for first and second graders, reading level wise. This book centers around a young boy and his first day of school. And he goes into his school and he's, worried about what teacher he's going to have, if they're going to be strict, if they're going to be nice, if they're going to be, the most awful human being on earth. Who's it going to be? You don't know. And then he finds out who his teacher is. And his teacher just happens to be Mrs. Green, the teacher from the Black Lagoon. She's a monster. And it's about how he goes through his day trying to survive and trying not to die because his teacher is dismembering and setting ablaze all of his fellow classmates on the first day of school. And it's mostly set inside of the school that he's attending, and the characters are, himself, Mrs. Green, Principal Bender, Mr. Smith, Mrs. Jones, and a bunch of the students, like his classmates. He's actually not named in the book, but some of his classmates are. You've got Eric Porter and Penny Weber and Derek Bloom and some other students in there with him, and they're all going through the same thing, trying to survive their first day of school, and so basically we get to know his teacher a little bit, and we get to see all of his, fears play out on who his teacher's going to be. Like, is she going to be giving homework on the first day? Is she going to be yelling at everybody? Is she going to be sarcastic? Who is she going to be? And we kind of see that in his mind. His imagination runs a little wild. And I've picked a section of the book that I really like that I'm going to let you look at with me. But Mrs. Green is supposed to be a real monster. Oh my, I have her. Mrs. Green, room 109. What a bummer. I sit at a desk, fold my hands, close my eyes. I'm too young to die. Suddenly, a shadow covers the door. It opens. In slithers Mrs. Green. She's really green. She has a tail. She scratches her name on the blackboard with her claws. Freddie Jones throws a spitball. She curls her lip and breathes fire at him. Freddie's gone. There's just a little pile of ashes on his desk. Talk about bad breath, giggles Eric Porter. She slithers over, unscrews his head, and puts it on the globe stand. I bet she gives homework on the first day of school. Your homework for today, grins Mrs. Green, smoke rings rising from her nostrils, is pages 1 through 200 in your math book. All the fraction problems. We've never had fractions, shouts Derek Bloom. Come up here. She beckons with her claw. Derek stands by her desk. This is a whole boy, she smiles. She takes a big bite. This is a half boy. Now you've had fractions. And as you can see, she is just terrifying and the epitome of the most awful teacher you could have. And it's just a really delightful book, and it's very, very funny, and, I think it's very relatable to children this age, going into school and having that fear of who's going to be in my class, is my teacher going to like me, all of that. They can relate to this, and they get to see how funny it could be if the teacher really was the worst possible nightmare that they could dream of. And you know, I think that the humor in it and the action and the fire and the eating people, it grabs your attention because it's not simple. It's way out of the box, and it's not your ordinary day of school. And I think that kids are going to love that about this book. And I think anyone would love this about this book, you know. And the interesting thing about it is you don't find out until the end if, you know, Mrs. Green is really going to be his teacher, or if maybe this is all just his imagination. But that's something you'll have to find out by reading until the end. And the end is probably one of my favorite parts. Besides, I don't know, I really like the line when he says, you know, I'm sitting on my desk crossing my hands. I'm too young to die. I love that line. I just think it's so funny. But yeah, this book is really fantastic, and I would suggest it to any first or second grader because I had to read it when I was a kid, and I absolutely loved it. And Mike Thaler is a brilliant author, and he's written several other books that tie onto this, actually. And it's a little bit of a series, not too long of a series, but a little bit of a series. And I would suggest reading any of his books. And the illustrations are awesome. Jared Lee is the one who did the illustrations, and they're not like in pen and watercolor, so it's really pretty, and it's very rough and cartoonish, I guess. So it makes it more silly and more alive, especially the drawing of Mrs. Green herself. Mrs. Green is the most detailed character, as you can see. She, you know, has her lipstick on and her red hair and her glasses and the smoke coming off her nostrils. Like, she's, you know, humorous but still a little scary. Like, I wouldn't want her to be my teacher. But yeah, I suggest you guys all read this book. It's called The Teacher from the Black Lagoon, and it's by Mike Thaler. And I picked my copy up at McKay's, and I'm sure they have several other ones because they have a ton of books. So go pick this up, take a read. I promise you won't regret it. It's a great book. Thank you guys for listening today, and I hope that you all read this book. Thanks.